The day started like any other on my sprawling lakefront property. Mist hung low over the water, and the gentle ripple of the lake reflected the golden hues of dawn. I had finally carved out a routine where peace was the norm, until Karen from the HOA decided it wasn't. She had a reputation for meddling, but this time, she had taken things to a new, audacious level. I was enjoying breakfast on my patio when I noticed her SUV parked suspiciously near the lake access. Her presence alone was enough to trigger a sense of unease, and my gut told me she had a plan. Minutes later, my neighbor called. "Karen's down at your lake again. She's fishing." I choked on my coffee. Fishing? On my private lake? Karen had officially crossed the line. She had no rights here, no permission, and yet there she was, casting her line as if this was a community pond. I grabbed my tablet and pulled up the property maps and deeds. Sure enough, every inch of the lake and surrounding land was mine. I had painstakingly acquired it over years, ensuring full legal ownership. Karen had clearly ignored that fact, or hoped I wouldn't enforce it. Determined to confront her without escalating to immediate law enforcement, I drove down the private lane, Titan, my K9, sitting alert in the passenger seat. As I approached, Karen waved cheerfully, oblivious to the storm she was about to walk into. "Morning. Lovely day for fishing, isn't it?" she called. "Morning, Karen," I said calmly, stepping out of the vehicle. Titan growled low, a subtle warning that only amplified my presence. Karen's smile faltered slightly. I didn't think anyone would mind," she stammered. I pointed toward the lake. "This lake, this land, the entire property is mine. All of it. Fishing here without permission is trespassing. And attempting to enforce your own rules over my property is not only inappropriate, it's illegal." Karen's eyes widened. I thought it was part of the HOA," she said weakly. I shook my head. "The HOA doesn't own any of this. I do. Every foot, every dock, even the land that leads up to the lake, which you just drove on, belongs to me." Her confidence crumbled as I pulled out the deed and surveyed maps, showing her the legal proof. Her hands trembled slightly as she realized she had not only broken the law but done so brazenly in front of witnesses. I didn't know," she muttered. "That doesn't excuse trespassing," I said firmly. "You need to leave immediately, and any future attempts will be met with legal action. I will not tolerate further interference with my property." By now, a few neighbors had gathered, watching the confrontation unfold. They had heard of Karen's antics before, but this was unprecedented. Titan barked once, sharply, as Karen tried to linger. It was enough to make her take a step back. I could see the realization settling in. She had underestimated the extent of my ownership, and her manipulative strategies had failed spectacularly. Karen backed away toward her vehicle, muttering threats that no one took seriously. I noted her behavior for potential legal follow-up. As soon as she left, I made a quick inspection of the lake area. Nothing had been damaged, but the audacity of her actions demanded a stronger defensive approach. I enhanced the surveillance system around the property, installed automated alerts for lake access, and informed my legal team that any future trespass would result in immediate action. Later that day, I sat by the water's edge, watching the sun glint off the lake. Titan lay nearby, ears twitching at every sound. The peace had been momentarily disturbed, but the outcome was clear. Karen's attempt to manipulate or trespass on my property had failed. She had tried to assert control over something that was legally mine, but in doing so, she had exposed herself to consequences. By nightfall, the lake reflected the stars, undisturbed and serene. I poured myself a drink and raised it in quiet victory. Property ownership was about more than titles and deeds. It was about vigilance, enforcement, and the willingness to stand firm when someone tries to take what's yours. Karen had learned that lesson the hard way, and the rest of the HOA would soon hear about it. As I locked the gates and walked back toward the house, I felt a renewed sense of security. My lake, my land, my rules. Anyone trying to challenge that would face the consequences, swift, lawful, and undeniable. The legend of my ownership, reinforced by Karen's failed attempt to fish illegally, would echo for years to come.